Hello my dear friends, I hope you all are doing good. This is Prashant Mauni and a very warm welcome to StudyIQ. Dear friends, today I have a sort of different challenge for you, and you can see two photos on your screen. You have to identify the person. Of course, you have to provide the name. With this, you have to provide their designation as well. Let me give you a small hint, and the hint is that both this person that you can see on your screen, they are part of one country. They belong to one country. So let's see who can get it right, and the first person to get it right will of course get a big Congo from me personally. With this, dear friends, please allow me to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses for different exams like SSC, Bank, UPSC and other government exams. StudyIQ provides you with different pen drive and tablet courses, and of course they are in electronic format. They are designed by the best faculties of our country, and I would highly recommend all of you to have it. If you don't have it and if you want to know more about it, all you have to do is check out StudyIQ.com website. You will find in fact chat support on StudyIQ.com. So if you have any queries, you can feel free to throw your questions on this chat support, or if you wish to speak to someone, then you can feel free to give us a call on this number as well. But don't forget to check out the things that are available on StudyIQ.com. With this, dear friends, the first item that we have in PIB today, and this is well important, and this is coming from Department of Space. Now, if you remember a couple of days ago in this PIB series, I provided you with a picture of Dr. Jitendra Singh, and most of you have got it right as well. So again, Jitendra Singh, he is talking about the space achievement, or the achievement that India has done in space sector. Basically, he was addressing this 5-day Asian conference on remote sensing, and whilst addressing, he also declared that the Chandrayaan-2 mission, right, this is going to be a sort of altogether different mission in itself, because this is going to be the first time that we are going to launch a sort of rover that will walk on this moon, right? So anyways, let's wait and watch till this thing is launched. But so far, this is what media reports are indicating, that we are going to launch a rover in this Chandrayaan-2, and this is going to take place in 2018 in the first quarter. You know what quarter is, isn't it? We have 4 quarters. That means we have 4 quarters in 1 year. That means we have 1 quarter is 3 months. So before March 2018, we will see the launch of this Chandrayaan. And of course, when we talk about space technology, or when we are talking about space sector, then of course India is a name that you cannot miss, isn't it? We are on a very high table when it comes to space technology, and it is because of the vision of Vikram Sarabhai. He is known as the father of space program in India. Again, you have Satish Dhawan, who is again a very well personality when it comes to space technology in India. These people are famous names, or this are the people who are the pioneer, or you can say the founding member of space technology in our country. He also mentioned about this South Asian satellite, and let me tell you that this is again a very important satellite, or a very important milestone in terms of diplomacy. It is also known as this South Asian satellite, or the release of South Asian satellite is also known as a move in space diplomacy, right? And the reason why it is said is because that we know that South Asia, right, this is a part of Asian continent, and apart from Pakistan, you have all these other countries of South Asia are going to benefit from this South Asian satellite. The other thing is that these countries, apart from India is a major player when it comes to space technology, but other countries are not able to have their own space stations, and they are not able to do that much in compared to other countries. So launching of this satellite will help these countries like Bhutan and Nepal and Sri Lanka. They would be able to explore, you can say, e-health and e-education, and they would be able to tackle disaster management and things like that. So this is going to be beneficial for the whole region of South Asia. The other thing is that with the launch of this, by providing this transponders and this facilities, communication facilities, we are of course going to win the heart and mind of the people of this South Asian countries. The other thing is this will develop, this will help in economic development of these countries, and it will create an environment, because we know that we have generally speaking the cultural we are similar in culture, isn't it? This South Asian countries, there is not that much difference. So it will create a sort of an environment in which goods and services will be exported and imported, and this will be beneficial for the whole region. So this is one of the main reasons why this South Asian satellite is important. The other thing is that there are other records as well. You know that we have launched 104 satellites in one go, and there are other things as well that ISRO has achieved. You can utilize the example of ISRO, because in the mains examinations, or say for example in your interview, you may be asked a question that government departments are not functioning that well, then as well why you want to join civil services, or why you want to become a sort of government employee rather than joining private sector. At that point of time, you can use the example of ISRO. ISRO is of course run by government, but it is one of the most professional organization the country has, isn't it? So there are some good examples as well. And the other thing is that many times you find this sort of argument that many people are saying that there is no point of spending this much amount of money after space technology, it is not going to be useful at all to us, etc., etc. We have huge amount of people who sleep hungry, then why don't we give money to them rather than doing this sort of space research and launching this sort of satellites? Then let me tell you that disaster management is can be done, or we can tackle these disasters, we can mitigate the risk of disaster, and this is possible only with the help of space technology. So here these arguments are of no use at all. The people who are being negative about space technology, their points are not logical, because we are saving a huge amount of people, millions and millions lives are being saved when disaster management is done effectively and efficiently. The other thing is that in our smart city programs and MG Naregas, geotagging and other things as well, like railway crossing, we are using space technology. It is used in many other things as well, right? For navigation, we have launched IRNSS, right? This is going to be a regional satellite in terms of a regional navigation system, and it will be beneficial in national security terms as well, because in 1999, right, when we had a Kargil war, at that point of time USA was not providing us, or for a brief time period it barred us from using this global positioning system. That is a sort of this satellite system is the ownership of USA. So in terms of national security as well, it helps us a lot. Dear friends, the second item that we have on board today is from Ministry of Communication, and you know very well that a couple of weeks ago, when India was celebrating Postal Day, at that point of time we have discussed this thing, or the benefits of India Post Payments Bank, how it will help change the face of our country and things like that. And for regular listeners it would be a sort of revision. For the new listeners it would be a new feather in your hat. So dear friends, the thing is, first of all, let me tell you that why it is in news. It is in news because IPPB has appointed Mr. Suresh Sethi as the new MD, that is Managing Director and CEO. Many times you find this sort of questions in form of general knowledge in your government exams, right? You hardly find this sort of questions in your UPSC, but at the same time, if you are applying for other government exams, then this sort of questions are asked. Particularly, it is important for those students who are preparing for bank exam. You may be you clearly find this sort of question, so keep this in mind. The other things that are associated with this thing is that first of all, let me tell you the strength of postal department. In our country, we have 1.54 lakh branches of post offices. That means post office covers nook and corner of our country. Go anywhere, you will find post office, right? Or even if your village is not having post office, then it won't be that far. If you compare this thing with the banks, then you find that there are many places where we don't have no other department has this many branches or this much penetration in our country. So this is a sort of supply chain, or you can say an asset that can be utilized. The other thing is that we have a strong 1.7 lakh postmen and postwomen. Altogether we have 1.7 lakh post personnel, and now they do appear, or they are there in your society every other day, right? Once a week or something. So there is no harm if they are providing you some sort of banking facility at your doorstep, isn't it? The other thing is that government is also going to utilize this reach of postal, or you can say the strength of post department in promoting e-commerce as well, right? So this is going to be a big boost. The other thing is that 5,000 ATMs will come with this many branches. It will become the world's largest bank network. And the thing is that we know how Jan Dhan, right, Jan Dhan account became a sort of game changer when it comes to financial inclusion. In the same way, it is going to take this financial inclusion to altogether a new level. This selection of this Mr. Suresh Sethi was done by Bank Board Bureau. Remember this thing as well. BBB is a sort of shortcut to remember, so that you can remember this thing. And 650 branches will start next year, early next year. That means all the districts will be covered, roughly speaking, and 100% equity of government of India is there with this post payment bank, right? So the next item is coming from Ministry of Defense, and I'm sure you remember that when this INS Tarini was about to go on its voyage of circumnavigating the whole world, and this is the first time we are witnessing this thing. At that point of time, we cherished and we wished them best of luck, and this is the crew, right? These are the 6 brave beg your pardon, these are the 6 brave daughters of our country. Hats off to all of them. This thing is filled up with lots and lots of different challenges and risks. The other thing is that, dear friends, there was a time when strength was given a sort of, or you can say that there was a time when if you are physically strong, only physically strong, that was enough for survival. And I'm talking about somewhere around 2000 or 3000, 5000 years ago. But nowadays, everything is unisex, isn't it? You don't find a aeroplane that is designed for men, different plane for men and women. Cars, motorcycles, everything, right, is unisex. Everything is designed with the help of technology, so everything is easy. You don't require strength. And I'm not saying that women are weak, not at all. What I'm saying is that that sort of thing is out of date now, right? And nowadays there is nothing, and this 6 daughters have in fact proven that there is nothing in this world that women can't do, right? So this is the thing. This is a big change, and this is of course not going to be the first and the last voyage. Many other women are going to get inspired from this thing, and this is going to bring a sort of positive change. With this, dear friends, I have a food for thought for you guys, right? Now, what this food for thought is, basically, we know the things that are going on around the world, isn't it? We know that India, Pakistan, nuclear threat, North Korea and USA, and Syria and West Asia and other countries are at throats at each other, isn't it? We are living in a mess, you can say, right? People are suffering from communicable diseases, and air pollution is going on, and things like that, etc., etc. So on one side we have all this technological advancement and things like that, but on the other side we find it is there is a dark side of our world as well. So my basic question is, and you could be asked this sort of question in your mains examination or in form of essay, but of course it is a very important thing. So the thing is, do you believe, right, or do you agree with this thing that or do you agree or disagree with this thing that if the world was ruled by women rather than men, right, then this world would have been much better place? What do you think? What's your opinion about this thing, right? Of course, do take your time, right? Do take your time, think about this thing from all different angle, and then provide your answer. And let me tell you very clearly that I will not accept any sort of hate speeches. I will not accept any sort of abusive words. See, I'm just talking about 1% or less than 1% people that you find online, right? They are always engaged, they are always ready to have this sort of confrontation and things like that. But you people are preparing for civil services, right? You have to have that sort of attitude in yourself. You have to develop your personality. If you are having a sort of typical, if you are carrying stereotypes and prejudices in your head, then this is going to throw you out of interview. Even if you write good answers in your mains examination during your personality test, remember, it is not interview. With civil services, you go through PT, that is personality test. And the people who are going to take your this personality test, they have trained eyes. It would take 5 to 10 minutes for them to find out your views and your prejudices, or if you have any sort of stereotypes. You cannot hide these things, because it is not something, if you don't know something about, if you don't know about something, then that does not mean that does not exist there. There is a proper science. There are lots and lots of theories and books and practical knowledge about how to dig deep into personality of individual. An interview or this sort of setup provides a good sort of it is a good you can say a platform through which they can find out some of these inner qualities that are hidden in you. So please keep this decora, right? Let's maintain this decora, and let's not engage ourselves. Of course, I'm talking about this 1% or less than 1% audience. Anyways, dear friends, I would appreciate your views on this thing, and I think this is a very important question. Now, coming back to this INS Tarini, this is the first of its kind, and the details, names are given here. Clock is beating us at present, so we have to be a bit quick. But anyways, we will cover important points here. See, Navika Sagar Parikrama, this is the main title of this expedition, and it is, of course, it aims to promote Nari Shakti. We have talked about this thing, and it started here in Goa, and now they have reached here. So they are going towards New Zealand and then Pacific Ocean, and then they are going to come back here to this Cape Town, and finally they are going to come back to Goa. Let's hope and pray that everything, of course, let's pray that they find many challenges, but also let's pray that that the Lord provide them with enough strength so that they can overcome all these challenges. Right, dear friends, Ministry of Home Affairs, Sri Dineshwar Sharma has been appointed by the government as the representative of India in initiating dialogue with Jammu and Kashmir. Now, in this Prime Minister Narendra Modi has clearly stated in his Independence Day speech that it is not with the help of abuses or bullets that we can sort out the problem of Kashmir. It is only by embracing them, right? Only then we would be able to sort this thing out. Now, this selection of Dineshwar Sharma is a good example for all of you that when you join civil services, may you become IPS or IAFS or any other civil servant, right? It doesn't really matter. What matters is that how you carry your duty. Are you continuously improving yourself, right, from internally and externally? And if you are, then a time will certainly come when you will be provided with this sort of opportunities that is bestowed on this retired IPS officer, Mr. Sharma. Right, dear friends, if you go through the history of relationship between the central government and Jammu and Kashmir, then we find that most of these prime ministers have always been liberal. They have always promoted talk, and retired IPS Mr. Sharma is going to act as a bridge between central government and the state of Jammu and Kashmir. He is going to have dialogue with stakeholders. Of course, we are not going to engage with Hafiz Saeed and terrorists, right? We are going to talk with all those people who are there for the development of Kashmir. Ministry of Defense, and this news is pertaining to the visit of Nirmala Sitharaman to Philippines. She is there to attend ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting, which is known as ADDM+. Plus represents the 8 dialogue partners engagement in this ASEAN and ADDM and plus. Dear friends, here is a map of ASEAN. This is a very important group, because India has a historical relationship with these countries. Buddhism and Hinduism and other parts of other shared culture things are associated with this ASEAN country and India. Then apart from that, it is all in news because of this region, which is South China Sea. There are 10 members here, and then I have some questions as well for you guys at the end of this lecture regarding ASEAN. So let's wait for this thing. And Ministry of Tourism. Dear friends, we have talked about this thing in detail a couple of weeks ago. So for the new listeners, I would recommend all of you to go back to our previous lecture and do connect this Atithi Devo Bhava, and do connect this Paryatan Parva, that is a sort of a tourism celebration, right, that we are promoting, because we know that if we want to make our country develop, tourism can help us out. And we are doing many things. We have been issuing e-visa. 29 lakh tourists have got e-visa. 163 countries are benefiting from this e-visa facility of India. Our goal is to have 100 million tourists and $100 billion income from tourism. And tourism has the highest multiplier impact, because if you invest, say for example 10 lakh rupees, the employment that you can generate in tourism is somewhere around 90, compared to manufacturing, you generate just 14. So these are the things, and these are the topics that keeps on going, and you have to keep on adding and connecting things, right? That's a part of your preparation. That's how you prepare. So do connect this thing with our previous discussion on tourism in this PIB series. With this, dear friends, I have 3 questions for you. Please help yourself with it, and don't forget to subscribe, share, like, pass your valuable comment. I would be eagerly waiting for your answers and your views on the food for thought that I have provided to you with this. Enjoy your studies. Prashant Mauni signing off. Jai Hind.